She smiled like a candle in the dark. My 8-year-old niece, pale against the hospital sheets, whispered, "Uncle, this is my last birthday." Her voice was too certain, too final. I forced a smile. "Don't say that. You'll be discharged soon." But she only shook her head, her small hand clutching the teddy bear at her side. "Check under it," she whispered, "but don't tell Mom." That's when the air around me shifted. Later, alone in her room, I lifted the bear. A small recorder clinked against the metal rails of the bed frame. I pressed play. Static. Then voices. Not hers, not a child's. Two adults, arguing in low, tense tones. My sister's voice, and a man's. Every word froze me where I stood, because in those whispers, I heard betrayal breathing. And I knew my niece's last birthday wasn't about illness at all. It was about secrets. The recorder didn't lie. I heard my sister's voice, pleading, breaking. Then another, lower, commanding, male, familiar, my brother-in-law. The fragments were enough to turn the hospital walls into a cage around me. "She can't know. No one can. The money, he'll find out." And then the words that cracked me open. "She's not his daughter." The silence afterward was deafening. I replayed it 3 times, staring at the little plastic box in my palm. My heart pounded, but my face remained cold, unreadable. Not his daughter. Not her daughter? I thought about my niece, smiling weakly, whispering her secret to me like a confession before execution. She knew. She had carried the burden too long for a child. And in that moment, I realized the betrayal wasn't only about infidelity. It was about blood, identity, truth buried under years of lies. I wanted to storm into their home, slam the recorder on the table, and watch their faces crack. But I didn't. I couldn't. This wasn't about rage. It was about precision. I began quietly, patiently. Phone records, bank transfers, conversations replayed in my head with new clarity. Every smile, every excuse, every strange silence. I requested a DNA test, not on her, but on myself. A quiet comparison. My niece had always clung to me, like I was more than an uncle. I needed to know why. The waiting stretched me thin, but I didn't falter. I smiled at family dinners, held casual conversations with my sister, nodded at her husband. But behind my eyes, I was dissecting them. Night after night, I replayed the recording. Her trembling voice, his low threats, the unmistakable weight of fear. And my niece's whisper haunted me. "This is my last birthday." Children don't invent that kind of certainty. Someone gave it to her, and I would find out who. The results arrived in a sterile envelope. Positive. She wasn't my niece. She was my daughter. My hands went still on the page. Every memory of her rushed through me, her smile, her clinging hugs, the way she always chose me over her own father. It all made sense now. My sister had lied, her husband had covered, and the child had grown up in a web of silence that was never hers to carry. That night, I didn't scream. I didn't confront. I walked into my sister's kitchen, placed the recorder and the test results side by side on the counter, and waited. When she entered, her face drained of color. She tried to speak, stammered. I stayed quiet. Silence is sharper than any blade, and I watched her break beneath it. Her husband entered next. He saw the papers, the recorder, her face, and in that moment, he knew. His mouth opened, but I raised a hand. "Don't." That was all I said. He crumbled into excuses. She wept. They turned on each other, spitting blame and betrayal. I didn't move, didn't speak, Because this wasn't about their words, it was about my silence. The truth lay between us, undeniable, unmovable, and the weight of it crushed them more effectively than fury ever could. When their voices cracked, when the tears stained their cheeks, I picked up the papers and walked out. I stood outside, the night air colder than I remembered. Through the window, I could still hear them tearing each other apart. But I felt nothing. No rage, no pity, only clarity. My niece, my daughter, was in a hospital bed thinking it was her last birthday, believing silence was safer than truth. That would end tonight. I had no interest in their marriage, their lies, their crumbling world. They would destroy themselves just fine. I had only one focus now: her, my blood, my truth. And as I drove toward the hospital, a strange calm settled over me. Because betrayal, once exposed, devours itself. And I no longer needed to carry their secret. It was theirs to drown in. Mine was already clean.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.